Buckle up and join the best. Let City relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the traffic avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the traffic avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Monday
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 5:30 p.m. Welcome to Eyewitness News, live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Nanatufuo Boateng, and I am here with
Eno Safo.
Coming up over the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
I've not done anything wrong. You need to prove that I've done something wrong. My political career, how would this affect my political career? Have I killed somebody? Have I done something untoward and all that? Please, I've done nothing untoward about this process.
Ghana Police Service begins investigations into allegations of bribery involving the Member of Parliament for Kwadaso, Dr. Kingsley Nyako, and 2 EC officials during the Adjiso by-elections. Also coming up.
We are in the era of Doom CSA, which is profoundly different from Doomso. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's governance. He is the only president on record that for 4 years that he reigned, there was doom.
Doomso or Doom CSA, Energy Minister Matthew Opoku Prempeh revives conversation on comparisons while Ghanaians reel under impact of erratic power supply. And later, worsening cedi shoots petrol prices above 15 Ghana cedis. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. But later in business.
International Monetary Fund reiterates calls for African countries to implement essential reforms to ensure sustained growth.
Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates in the Western region. This is Ajimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Skypa 93.5 FM in Takrade, and Beach 105.5 FM also in Takrade. You can join us in the Bono Regional Capital, Sunyani, on Greener 95.9 FM. We're live in the Ashanti region on Ajimpa 99.9 FM in Carrier. Join us in the Volta region on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi. We're also live on Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. Up in the Northern region, this is Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Sabuba. Join us in the Upper East region on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Northeast region, this is Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigu. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. All right, so let's begin by taking you back to April 30 in Adjiso in the Ashanti region, where a by-election was held to find a replacement for the late MP Dr. John Kuma after he passed away. Now, during that by-elections, a video popped up on social media and has since gone viral, where the Member of Parliament for Kwadaso, Dr. Kingsley Nyako, is pictured placing a white envelope on the table in front of the Electoral Commission officials during the by-election. Now, police confirmed that the MP, along with 2 EC officers, have been invited to provide their statements. We want to get details of that police statement. Joining us in studio with the details is our presidential correspondent, Sami Riafe. Good evening, Sami.
Good evening, Anna.
So what else is the Ghana Police Service saying?
So the statement came in a while ago, and it says the Ghana Police Service has commenced investigations into the alleged electoral offence involving some temporal officers of the Electoral Commission and a member of Parliament during the by-election at Ejiso in the Ashanti region. The persons involved, George Sasu, Regina Sewa, and Dr. Kingsley Nyako, have been subsequently been invited by the Ghana Police to assist the investigation, and their statement duly taken. Police is working together with the Electoral Commission as the investigation continues. So this statement was issued this afternoon after Dr. Kingsley Nyako appeared before the Ashanti Regional Police Command in the Ashanti region, where his statement was taken alongside these individuals who have been mentioned by the Ghana Police Service. My understanding is that he was asked to leave behind his details, his phone number, house address, and those things. And the police told him that if there's a need for them to contact him again, they will call him to assist with the investigation on this particular matter. As you mentioned, on the 30th of April, there was a viral video in which he was seen dropping an envelope, a white envelope, to some EC officials during the by-election in Ejiso. He's come out to speak publicly and said that he did nothing wrong. He was just a good Samaritan who thought that the EC officials there were exhausted, and so he needed to, give them something to go and buy food and water. Even though that wasn't his duty, he thought that as a Ghanaian and fellow feeling, he thought it right, and as a member of parliament, thought it right to help those individuals who were present during the voting process. And so for him personally, he's done nothing wrong as far as this matter is concerned. You remember on that same day, the Electoral Commission also issued a statement on this same matter, and with your permission, I go back to read it, and it says, following the incident that occurred during the conduct of the Ejiso by-election today, which was the 30th of April, the Commission has taken investigations, reviewed that the officers at the said police station, namely the Fomosua Pentecost Church police station, with the police station number F311503, were temporary officers of the Electoral Commission. The recommendation was that the Commission has taken the following action: withdrawn with immediate effect the officers who were involved in this matter, and held discussion with the Ghana Police Service to kickstart the process of criminal investigation into this matter. Right. So I'm sure it follows this particular statement.
But this was the first statement issued by the EC. There was a second one of the day.
Yes, a similar one was issued by the Electoral Commission, which further gave details of these individuals and what they expect the police to do. So based on these two statements, that was what has prompted the Ghana Police Service to look into this matter. Already, we had information that the Special Prosecutor, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, has also taken interest in this same matter, and they will also investigate it. So the Ghana Police Service and the Special Prosecutor have all, indicated their intention to look into this matter. It forms part of, allegations by the camp of one of the aspirants or one of the candidates in the by-election, which is the camp of Kwabena Idiomi, which says that there was a grand scheme by the MPP to rig that particular election. And so, with what was seen, the viral video, with what was seen in the viral video, a lot of people believe that this was the plan the MPP had executed in ensuring that their candidates or their parliamentary candidates wins the primaries on the 30th of April. The member of parliament in question spoke to journalists on the Tuesday, Tuesday where this particular event took place, and he said that he did nothing wrong, and he found what he did not violating the laws or something.
All right, so let's hear Dr. Kingsley Nyako, MP for Kwadaso, mounting a defense of his action during that by-election in Ejiso.
No, everything happens for a purpose. I don't know your mind. I don't know the reason why this is out. And I said that I don't think you've done anything wrong to affect my person. If you've done anything wrong, your judgment, you know about it. But what I know is that I came around to observe the process. Then I even got an interview with you. Later, some people sent me this, and I look at it and I said, what is it? I've been a teacher for a long time. Ghanaians know that I'm disciplined. Me. I can never do anything to undermine the process. Okay? You've been covering politics for a very long time. If I were to influence the process negatively or to my kindest favor, honestly, sincerely, It is the forum that I'm going to do that.
So do you feel bad that the officers have been relieved of their duty? Currently, the officers there are new.
I think they are victim of circumstances, and I think that, I don't know, but they've done anything wrong. This is what I'll say about that. But I will address this issue properly. Just that you forced me to put some words.
What will end this is what was in the envelope. That is all. That is what will end it.
So,
from your narration, you are saying it was a document.
I'm saying that I've done nothing to influence the process. That's it. So if the RGP is being petitioned to invite me, I'm ready for him, and I will. When we get there, I know what I'm going to talk about. But no protest has been undermined. Nothing untoward has been done. People are speculating, isn't it? Because they think that this was it. But you sit in your home and you're able to determine what has been, delivered or something. That is so wrong. You don't make conclusions on that.
So that was Dr. Kingsley Nyako speaking on the Tuesday, April 30, during that by-election in Edriso, where a viral video depicted him dropping an envelope on the table of some 2 EC officials. The 2 EC officials have since been withdrawn by the EC. Apparently, they are temporary staff. And of course, the EC made a further complaint to the police to begin investigations. News is that police has invited these 3 persons. And one person who has been calling for the police to get involved is the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustafa Gbande, and he joins us via telephone. Good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening.
I trust you're well.
Yes, God has been great.
Right. You have been calling for the police to make a move regarding this particular matter involving the Kwadaso Member of Parliament, Dr. Kingsley Nyako. According to a police statement, he has been invited and investigations have commenced into the matter. Satisfactory enough?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our cherished listeners. It has never been the issue of satisfaction and excitement. The law does not exist so that when the law seems to be working, then we are excited. We only need the law to work to guarantee and to safeguard fundamental human rights. Particularly that we have a government in power that has a pageantry of abusing power and abusing human rights. Then people must rise up and ensure that the right thing is done. Now that the police have begun their responsibility into the matter, because there was no way that we could allow a poor EC officer who will take bribe because the economy is hard to be persecuted and prosecuted, whereas the big fish, who is the giver of the bribe, is walking about. Then there is fundamentally the case cannot be investigated. So now that the police are doing their work, we will hands off and allow them to investigate the matter whilst we observe keenly how they end this matter. We then see how the warped logic of the MPP, that the MP was giving food to Electoral Commission officers, will stand in the face of the law. I think we should all allow the law to work.
Mustafa,
in the midst of the work.
If indeed it does come out that the MP was giving food to the officers, is this warranted? It is not in his place to be giving food to EC officials, is it?
Well, that is his logic, and that is the logic the MPP have espoused as far as this matter is concerned. We feel that it's a criminally intended logic in the first place, a shameful act to defend the unlawful conduct of the MP. We have insisted that there was an attempt to give bribe, and the bribe was actually taken, which is an offense. In fact, even the perimeter within which it took place is a security zone, and nothing like that is permitted. To the largest extent, it compromises the credibility of the Electoral Commission, compromises the integrity of the electoral process, and does not render the election free and fair. And so when we are talking about this, and you have ignorant people from the MPP who believe that their logic must reign, then it's laughable. We are just asking the law to work. We are just asking the Electoral Commission to fortify itself with professionalism so that we can go through a very peaceful election. That is the only thing that can guarantee peaceful transfer of power. Because the MDC is not in the position to allow anybody to break a law and take advantage of governance of this country. The only thing that will work is when the right thing is being done. And this is where the media, civil society, the clergy must all get involved so that the simplest thing, which is a free and fair election, must be followed. The institutions of state must do their work and serve the country well. We cannot allow partisan, sensation to take over our institutions, thereby compromising our security. And all of us are looking at it and watching a chaos while it looms. These people in power do not have a fear for what is wrong. They do not fear evil. They do everything evil. They do everything wrong, and they break the law. I am, sometimes get to wonder whether the president is really a lawyer to allow some of these things to happen under him. But we will not sleep until the right thing is done. The only strength we have is our voice. The only strength we have is the law, and the law must be seen working.
Well, Mustafa, but the president during his May Day address did promise free and fair elections. And we know that this is a human institution. The EC has also been promising a transparent, free and fair elections. With every human institution, there will be flaws. Could this be a one-off rather than being part of a grand scheme as you appear to be suggesting?
Well, I don't take anything the president says seriously anymore. This is a president who does not fear his own vow with the people of Ghana. This is a president who is excited when he breaks a promise. This is a president who is promising free and fair election, but said he will not hand over power to somebody he defeated. This is a president who does not fear to appoint a partisan individual to join the fortified neutral commission of electoral commission. You take the promises of this president serious. I will not hand over my power to my life to President Akufo-Addo to protect, because he simply doesn't care. And at this point, he believes that he has already scammed the people of Ghana. He's finished his 7 years. He's going to his 8 years. He doesn't care. The sad reality is that Bawumia will have to pay for all the evil the president has committed, and that is what will take him to opposition. So I don't take anything the president says seriously anymore, because this president doesn't stand by his word. The only man who came to tell us that it is the Catholics who are coming there, when he was coming to power, he was begging the people of Ghana. Today, he now commandeers chiefs to rise up to greet him. It has never happened in this country before. And so let us not take the president serious. Let us take the law of this country very seriously. When the law says that something should not be done, it should not be done. The law does not permit anybody to give bribe within the perimeter of an election. And somebody have done same, he has to be arrested.
Allegedly.
The law is that electoral commission should be transparent, free, and fair. The electoral commission should just do that. If there is chaos in this country, it is not President Akufo-Addo, it is Jim Mensa that will cause chaos in this country.
How
because
so?
Under her watch, people have gone into her custody and stolen DVD machines, which is now making every exercise the electoral commission is going to undertake suspicious. So if there is any problem in this country, it is the Mensa and her cohort at the commission, not President Akufo-Addo, because President Akufo-Addo has made it very clear to every Ghanaian that if he has the opportunity, he will rig the 2024 election in favor of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, but it will not happen. We will not allow that to stand. We will stop that when it is started.
I think this is quite a serious allegation you're making. If you say he has made it very clear, I don't think I've heard the president on any platform making such a statement.
Well, I have said so, that if the president have said it, his ministers have said they won't hand over power. Are you not in this country? Were you not in this country when he was saying it? All the platforms that he makes mention of this, didn't we hear him? His ministers are saying it. Did he reprimand them? Does he take responsibility of what happens under his government?
Mustafa, does this translate to him saying that he will rig the elections in favor of Dr. Bawumia? I don't think so.
So we are going into an election where the only determinant of who assumes the reins of power is election. The man says, I won't hand over to my opponent. The man says that I will not hand over power to the man I have defeated. What else should he tell you? The man has gone ahead to appoint a politically exposed person, an MPP appointee, to a commission. And you are telling me he doesn't want to rig election? Chief, we have to look at President Akufo-Addo and tell him the hard truth in his face. He is our president. We love him. But at this point, he has missed his road. And we have to tell him.
What will this hard truth be? What will this hard truth be?
The hard truth is that Ghanaians were expecting that he will be a better president. The reality is that he has failed the people of Ghana, failed his political integrity, and let him hand over power to the choice of the ordinary Ghanaian and stop manipulating, trying to use the military, trying to use the police, trying to use the electoral commission to compromise the 2024 election. That is the hard truth. And the hard reality is that the NDC will not allow that to continue.
All right, Mustafa, thank you very much. We are grateful to you for your time this evening.
I am grateful, sir.
Mustafa Gbandi is the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, speaking to us there regarding the matter of the Kwadaso Member of Parliament, Dr. Kingsley Nyako, who has, according to a police statement, been invited relating to alleged bribery incident during the Edgeso by-elections. Well, this is Eyewitness News. Your comments are still welcome via the WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. Stay with us here on 97.3 FM. Still ahead, Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh doubles in the conversation of comparisons while Ghanaians continue to reel under impact of erratic power supply. We'll be right back with the details.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Electroland Ghana Limited is giving its May Day promotion in all its shops and authorized dealers across Ghana. Grab a Samsung Full HD 32-inch LED TV for just 2,349 Ghana cedis. Get our discounted media tabletop fridge at 1,999 cedis. Buy a TCL UHD 4K Smart Android 55-inch LED TV at 6,299 Ghana cedis. And get a free Nasco 5-burner cooker. May Day promotion good. Get a Nasco 90 liters top freezer at 1,699 Ghana cedis. And if you're looking for top quality dishwashers, gas hobs, chimney knots, and electric hobs, Electrolux got you with exciting discounts as well. Rush now. Terms and conditions apply. For further information, call 050-315-9739. Electroland Ghana Limited, home of luxury and affordable appliances.
In the Chest of a Woman, a stage play written by Efo Kojo Maugbe.
Hey, but you are not a man.
I am a woman, but I am not going to indulge in the fanciful notion that men have the priority on leadership talent.
You must know how you talk before
Join
us.
Clemento Suarez, General Ntatia, Akofa Ejani, and more at the National Theatre on the 3rd and 4th of May 2024 at 4 p.m. for the first show and 8 p.m. for the second show each day. To purchase tickets, simply dial *713*33*21# or visit Airport Shell, Bachona Total on the Spintex Road, Rocks Wachi, Silverbird Cinema at the Accra Mall, and Gold Coast Restaurant. For more information, call 054-1234-586. In the Chest of a Woman is powered by Africa Arts Network in collaboration with Challenging Heights. Supported by UNESCO, Access Bank, Caveman Watches, Horseman Shoes, Gold Coast Restaurant, McPhillis Food, York's Rent a Car, Bisabira Museum, Citi TV, and Citi FM.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News here on 97.3 Citi FM. I'll take a few quick messages. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema says it appears that the impunity of using money to induce voters during elections is growing to concerning levels. This act of using monetary inducement on voters has deprived so many areas of development. The Ghana Police Service showed as a matter of urgency arrest the MP for Kwadaso for bribing the 2 electoral officers. It is highly reprehensible and detestable for an MP who is a lawmaker to engage in this act. The democracy of Ghana has been thrown to the dogs. Alan from Chantine says the welfare of EC officials cannot be the responsibility of political parties. Uncle Gideon from Saboba says, so this is the minister MPP supporters are calling to be running mates for Dr. Baumia. God forbid. Ghanaians deserve better men and women to rule our country. Prince Henry Koforidua says, will the NPP be defending what Dr. Kingsley Nyako did? If Kingsley Nyako was an NDC MP, what is the probability that he hasn't been to other voting centers before coming to the polling center where the video was taken? Keep your messages coming in, but Eno has the next story.
The flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has promised to provide free tertiary education to all persons with disability who make it into universities in Ghana if he wins the December polls. He made this known during an interaction with the clergy in the Western North region as part of his ongoing nationwide tour. According to Dr. Bawumia, even though scholarships are meant to be given to all manner of persons, his government will prioritize scholarships for persons with disability. The NPP flag bearer noted that the scholarship will cover both academic and residential fees for all persons with disability from 2025.
So I am very, very clear on the way forward. I believe that persons with disabilities, we are going to have to support them a bit more. Persons with disabilities, we are giving scholarships to every sort of person, but I want to dedicate some of them monies from our scholarship secretariat and the GET Fund to provide free tertiary education, both tuition and accommodation, to all persons of disabilities who make it into the universities so that they can all benefit from that.
NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
Let's go over the phone lines and speak to the campaign manager for the Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia campaign team, Frederick Opariansa. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Busy week for you, but I trust you're well.
I'm very well, thank you.
Great. The tour has begun. We heard and saw of the vice president in the eastern region, then heard and saw of him again in Dom Kwabenya. Yesterday, we saw him commission the Apiate reconstruction project. Now he's in the Western North region. What has the reception been like, and what messages has the vice president been sending to the electorate?
Thank you very much. As you are very well aware, we spoke on Monday when we were in Koforidua, and it touched base briefly, as I indicated, in the Greater Accra region, specifically Nome Kwabenya constituency on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we touched a number of constituencies in the Western region, Sekendi, Takoradi, Efia, and Takwa, and then the Pristia Honi Valley, where he performed an official function commissioning the Apiate reconstructed community. We proceeded to the Western North region today, where he's had very good engagement, some house-to-house meetings, some garages, and continue with our Youth Connect program. And in each of these regions also, he's met with the chiefs and the clerics, both the Christian clergy and the Islamic clerics within all the regions that we've visited. And so far, I must say the reception has been very, very good, very warm, very encouraging, where people feel that they have things that need to be addressed. They raise their concern, and the campaign is also very receptive of these criticisms and concerns, because that is what will drive the policies, will drive and shape the policies of the new Patriotic Party's next administration. And so things are going very well. Indeed, if you were here today with us, you would have gotten a feel of how the chiefs and people of the Western North region are grateful to what the Akufo-Addo-led administration has done for them, not just giving them their own region, but has provided immense infrastructure to them. In fact, when the president of the National House of Chiefs was addressing us, I was shocked. I didn't even know about 80% of the projects that he talked about as having been done just about 6 years ago when they got their region redemarcated for them.
Right. Interesting to note, but one thing we would like to find out is how has the Vice President Dr. Bawumia been dealing with campaigning as flag bearer, and also, as we saw him do yesterday, perform an official function as Vice President?
Well, when it came to performing his official function, we ensured that the rest of the campaign team proceeded to the next campaign event whilst he went out with his official team to go and perform his official function. And so, as much as possible, we try to stay clear of his official functions and ensure that there is a real focus on the campaign. He's not allowing the campaign also to, as it were, affect his time to perform his official functions. So wherever he is, there's an official duty to perform. He takes time out of the campaign to go and perform that, so that the issues of governance does not also suffer because of campaign activities. And that, I must say, he's mixing very well. And of course, that means he has to work extra long hours in the day. Yesterday, I, for instance, slept almost around 4 a.m. because we finished and had to trek all the way to the western north. And again, because we use this bus also, it's kind of a little slow with our movements, but we believe it's good. We're saving a lot of costs on the campaign that way.
Let's get into the message of the Vice President and start off with the promise to provide free tertiary education to all persons with disability who make it into universities in Ghana. Will you be kind enough to shed more light on this?
Well, I think generally the Vice President is quite sensitive to people who are in need. And if you listen to him when he relates his own story of how he had to go through being a by-day worker on farms to driving taxis in London to support his university education there and cleaning dormitories of students that he was even a teaching assistant to in Canada. I mean, it tells you that he feels people's pain when he sees what they have to go through. And so he's always looking for a solution to some of the problems that people like that face. Don't forget that Dr. Bawumia is a patron of the leprosarium, or the lepers group, as it were, in the country. We see him feed them on his birthday and things like that. And so he's always looking for some opportunities that will bring some kind of equity in the lives of these people as far as national development and the enjoyment of national programs is concerned. And so I'm not surprised when he outlaid this policy that when he's in office, he's going to ensure that the scholarship resources are deepened to the point that he'll be able to take care of all people with disabilities who make it into the tertiary level, so that it doesn't become a challenge that perhaps because of your condition and maybe coming from a poor background, you are unable to access resources to have tertiary education. That way, once again, people will not be limited by their condition and situation to have the best that they can have in this country and achieve the best potentials that they may have.
What considerations have gone into the cost burden or otherwise this will place on government coffers?
Well, I'm sure that by the time the manifesto proper comes out, all this will be laid out clearly. Because as we speak, most of the things that he brings out are things that the committee is working on and may have shared such details with him. And he knows it is feasible, and that is when he touches on them.
Right. The Vice President has also been speaking to the mining community, and he has made a promise to make small-scale miners millionaires in this country. We've seen some resentment or opposition to this particular promise. Really, what does the Vice President mean when he says he will make small-scale miners millionaires in Ghana?
The Vice President, and let me say that I don't believe that the story about some resentment is necessarily true. My little check was that the person cited in the story is perhaps not even the association's leader. We are still investigating that bit. because I was surprised. We were all surprised when we saw this because there was no such situation around the Youth Connect program in Takwa yesterday. It was all very good, very nice. And the one we know as being the president of association, I don't think that is even the name that is quoted in that story. However, the vice president has indicated how it is because foreigners come in to spend their money doing prospecting of our mineral and natural resources. And by the time they come, seemingly the nation and the state does not have resources to do its own prospecting, or individuals and indigenes in the country do not have the requisite funds to do such. And so they will lock you up into an agreement. And by the time they find the resources, it is too late to go back. I remember in Parliament, we used to do what we call stabilization agreement for most of these mining entities. And why they want stabilization is that once they found a resource, no law of Parliament can touch them because you've already given them that stability. And so what they signed with you from day one is what it will continue to run till the agreement runs its course. What Dr. Baumia has said is that he was going to set up even a bank for financing our mineral exploitation activities. And that way, locals will be able to access funds to be able to do prospecting on their own. And so when we find these resources, it is not going to be owned by any foreign person or entity. It will be owned 100% by Ghanaians. And so it will not be a matter of, the chiefs here, you get some little, how do you call it? This token amount that we give about 10%, and then government gets its percentage, the assemblies get small, and the rest is taken out by these foreigners, and all they pay is those royalties that I referred to. But 100% of that would be owned by Ghanaians. Fancy the mines owned by the Newmonts and other gold entities in this country were owned 100% by Ghanaians. Wouldn't these persons be millionaires? So if the vice president is bringing in policies and measures to ensure that Ghanaians will have ownership of these businesses, then clearly they are going to become millionaires and billionaires. And that is what he meant. Particularly here today, we have one of the parliamentary candidates actually for Sevilla also, who is an expert in doing this kind of thing. And we've been engaging him on ways that the technology he is using back in Alaska to build cheaper mines and very profitable mines could be brought down to the youth here for them to get involved in. And it's clean, it's safe, and will not pollute our water bodies, So the vice president is constantly exploring mechanisms by which he will achieve this. And he means it when he says that he's going to make millionaires and billionaires out of the miners that we have in this country.
Mr. Azza, did this exploration cover ways to deal with illegal mining as well? We've been grappling with this menace for a while now, and we know that one of the measures introduced by the government currently is the community mining scheme. Does this new policy extend or stretch out to rope beneficiaries of this community mining scheme into this new one to help, reduce the menace of illegal mining in the country?
Yes, it does. The policy certainly does. I've heard discussions about how there will be a pool of equipment resources from which the community miners will be able to access. Essentially, what causes people to do galamsey illegally and in the manner that we see is simply they trying to earn a living and a livelihood. And that is why, in my view, it's become such a very difficult thing trying to stop the menace. And so we will need to find ways of allowing our people to mine much more efficiently and in a more responsible manner. And the policies that I've seen Dr. discuss with the team certainly does cater for having responsible mining in the space that the galamseys currently operate. And he has said that this will be done without us having to seize excavators or burn them. I'm sure if you listen to his 7th February speech, you would have heard him talk about all that. He has, since we hit the road, been also expanding on how these things will be done.
All right, Mr. Pariansa, thank you so very much for your time this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And we wish you well.
Thank you.
Frederick Opariansa is the campaign manager for the Dr. Bawumia campaign team, which is currently in the Western North region campaigning. Here in Accra, this is 97.3 Citi FM, the show Eyewitness News. Stay with us. When we come back, we hear from the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who has attributed the current power crisis to efforts at fixing the energy sector.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
KB, yo. Hey, KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. The Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, says Ghana experienced the worst form of power challenges under the erstwhile John Mahama administration than currently. Dr. Opoku Prempeh says government is working to address the challenge. At the Government Assurances Committee meeting in Parliament, Dr. Opoku Prempeh reiterated that the ongoing power crisis is due to efforts to rectify the energy challenges.
When I got to the ministry, we've gone past the era where we had 72 to 96 days of lights out and 6 hours of light on. We are in the era of Doomsday, which is profoundly different from Doomsday. Doomsday, as inflicted on Ghanaians, has only happened has characterized His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's governance. He is the only president on record that for 4 years that he reigned, for 4 years that he ruled, for 4 years that he governed, there was doom, 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 doom. If the non-partisan colleague says that now it's worse, then I don't know where his realities lie.
You heard Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh.
Let's go over the phone lines and speak to a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament and also a member of Parliament for Wa Central, Dr. Rashid Pelpu. Good evening, Honourable.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, your colleague and Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has been speaking on the current energy situation. We've heard President Akufo-Addo also speaking during the May Day celebration say that efforts had been made to address the situation. The minister for a while now had not made any comment until the president said what he said during the May Day celebration. Could it be that indeed the situation had been rectified for which the minister can now speak to the matter?
Well, thank you so much. It's very sad that we have a government that cannot take responsibility of a situation they have created themselves. Let me let you know, let me remind you of the fact that these are the people who said they came to meet too much power in the system. We are paying for power we are not using, and that we have we brought in independent power producers to produce power that was not necessary at all because there's overproduction of power. Now, if there's so much power in the system and there is a situation where you have lights off and on, I don't know what they want to call it. They don't want to say it's on and off, but it is on and off, which is, in a kind of expression, doom so. Now, and without taking responsibility, they're also running away from the fact that there was a situation or there is a situation we are facing right now. When the president announced that they have tackled doom so, that same day, there was lights out in where I was. Yesterday, I went to do a haircut with at a barber shop, barbering shop, and there was no lights at all. Sometimes when the ministers speak and when people holding responsibility speak, you can't differentiate them from soldiers who are contributing to radio stations. Can you imagine a minister, responsible person, saying, if we lose power, but we won't hand over power to you? I mean, what kind of... You just look at the facts, the person speaking it, the situation under which he's reflecting, and you can't see that this is a responsible person. And you can't see a minister who knows that there is power on and power off. Business is suffering. Individuals are suffering because they don't have the time lights will go off and they don't know the time the lights will come on. And because when their machines are getting spoiled, businesses are having challenges. And still, they say, oh, if you give power, it will look like John Mahama. So let the business suffer. Let individuals suffer. Will not come back and make such utterances as he's making. It tells you that this is a government you can't rely on. They are not willing to be they can't be relied on. They are not demonstrating that they can be relied on. They are not showing responsibility, and they are not executing the kind of responsibility that can cure the challenges we are facing now. I'm very sad that at this situation, a minister like that will say, only under John Mahama did we have this situation. Yes, it's only under John Mahama we incur a situation because of a past regime and did not give it to the past regime as a responsibility. You see, in the Kufuor's 8 years regime, they produced 2% of power. That 2% of power started working in John Mahama's regime. There was the need for more power institution into the country. We needed to create more power need, but they didn't. And so when John Mahama came, the gap existed. There was a need to close that gap. He didn't say, oh, Kufuor didn't do it as much as we required. That's why there's doom so. No, he said, look, this situation has come in my regime. I'm going to solve the problem. Remember, the rains had also been erratic and weren't consistent, and as a result, the hydro Akosombo was lack of water. They didn't have enough water for us to generate more power. He said, no problem at all. It's my responsibility. I will make sure we infuse more power into the system and create an opportunity for us never to have lack of power anymore. He did it. John Mahama alone has brought about 45% of our electricity power needs into this country. It is only of all the presidents who have come into office since independence, it's only Nana Akufo-Addo who has brought nothing into our power requirements. That's what the minister should know. He knows it. He should be talking about that. When they ask you a question about your today's job, your failure today, rather than addressing it, you are going back to address a system that is not in power today, a regime that is not in power today. Let the minister know that he is not in charge of the electricity company right now. He is not in charge of power supply. The name is there for him, that he is the minister in charge. But
these agencies are under the energy ministry, so if you say he's not in charge, who is?
When I say he's not in charge, it goes more than the fact that officially they are under the ministry and the minister can take a decision and it will have a consequential effect on the actions of the agency. But I'm talking about real control and decision-making in the power industry. It is there. Somebody else bigger than him is in charge. He can't even give a timetable without consulting them.
Who could be bigger than the minister in the power sector?
In this government, you have some stratifications. Sometimes a non-minister, rather than even the government, the president, is higher than the minister. They are all over there. Somebody who is in charge of the power situation now is much more influential than the minister. He knows it. Many people who know the power industry know it. So if he comes to say what he's saying, it baffles many of us. I think he should rather keep quiet and tackle the problem, rather than talking about what John Mahama said. And John Mahama did what he did to save the people of Ghana from our power needs. His president and himself have failed to add not even a quarter megawatts of energy into our power needs. They have not. So if there is doomsday and we know there is doomsday, and you come to tell us there's no doomsday, it's an insult to the Ghanaians. It's a way of disrespectful attitude towards the feelings and the pulses of Ghanaians. It's unacceptable. And I think Ghanaians should always take them on, not wait for us to talk.
Right.
The people who feel the pain every single day should talk and let them know they can't continue to tell lies. I heard Baumia also talking about free education for people with disability. There are three things. It's not what they are looking. It doesn't add up to the kind of economy we want to run. We need production. We need to produce and get money to be able to run this country. You are talking about free. You have said them several times over. And we know that you don't have the money to do it because your economy is not about production. It's about free things, which is telling everybody that these are not people who understand the economy.
Honorable, thank you. We'll have to leave it here, but thank you so very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Honorable Dr. Rashid Pelpo is the Member of Parliament for Wa Central and also a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Now, talk about energy. Fuel prices continue to rise. The latest increment has shot the price of petrol to above 15 Ghana cedis. Let's find out what has been contributing to the rise in fuel prices and speak to the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC Ghana, Duncan Amwa. Good evening, Duncan.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for your time. The major OMC, GOIL, is selling petrol above 15 Ghana cedis. Did you see this coming? Was this your prediction, and what may have contributed to this?
Well, it is surprising, but not shocking. Not shocking in the extent that oil has, over the past 24 to 36 months, been retailed for regular price that raw 95 products, which with other oil marketing companies, they differentiate and use all kinds of names for. And so if you see Goil now adjusting towards where the other OMCs have been selling the special products for, the only explanation there really is that it is not a regular product that they have been selling for regular prices. When I push them, the indication I get is that somewhere next week, before next window, they intend to now roll out the regular fuel, which is raw 91, for a little cheaper pricing than the current price that they have rolled onto the market. So that basically is just it. The other OMCs have not gone up so much. You check Star Oil, you check Shell or Vivo, they've just stayed within the 14.46, 14.6 region. For now, it is only Goil that seems to have what a lot of people have been talking about today, which is the relatively higher price. And the only explanation I picked from the market leader is that they are simply getting to retail raw 95 fuel, which is of a higher quality or grade to the regular raw 91 that other OMCs supposedly are retailing. And the indication is that by next week, before next window, they are also going to roll out the regular raw 91 to be able to sell for the regular prices that we saw. But for this window, most analysts were looking for some stability in prices in view of the fact that international market benchmarks were indicating an increase for petrol, rightly so, about 2 to 3%, a reduction for diesel, rightly so, about 3%, and a reduction for LPG. Now, for such windows, there's almost always a pricing formula called cross pricing, which says that I would lose on the one that should have gone up. I will gain on the one that I should have reduced for. So I would rather maintain prices and be able to, as it were, break even my numbers so as not to go adjusting from figures. But unfortunately, the market is responding differently, especially with the Goil figures we are seeing. This was not forecasted at all.
But should we be seeing fuel prices continue to rise as they are? I'm asking because there have been a number of interventions, including the gold for oil policy. Could this not have bridged the rise in fuel prices locally?
I do think, honestly, that we would need to look at the gold for oil program separately from what Central in recent times is also trying to do. A private refinery has attempted to also give lower figures for the market. Unfortunately, you hear there's a program from the Gold for Oil and where Boss is now looking to become the sole off-taker for Central. If that is allowed to go through or if that is allowed to continue, what it will mean is that there's no competition now between Gold for Oil and what Central is putting on the market. And so we will get to a point where one major player, Boss, is controlling prices on the market. And if Boss becomes inefficient, then there will be inefficient prices on the market with no competition. So Gold for Oil is not doing much. The worrying signal now is that fuel has crossed 15, at least for Goil. What it will mean is that in the not too distant future, your Citi dollar exchange is likely to also cross 15 in the not too distant future, in a few days to come. If it does cross 15, then you will see a certain reversal of those OMCs now trading around 13, 14 Ghana cedis, all going above 15. So that pressure, I don't know if there's a loop or a cycle. Once fuel goes up, the exchange rate also has a way of simply increasing. And once it increases, it comes back to drag the fuel. Maybe they need to look at, what we can do with the exchange rate, because if you also look at the prices on the market now, the bigger driver now happens to be the exchange rate. Just 2-3 days ago, your city was exchanging to the dollar for around 14.05. As we speak, it's around 14.35, 14.40 for the open market. Once that happens, the petroleum market would now look to adjusting prices in order to be able to break even, so as not to lose and be able to bring back the products or ensure fuel security. So it's a difficult cycle to handle. But we would expect that authorities would now begin to do anything they can to stem the city's depreciation, so as not to wake up to a few days from now or the second window today and prices have gone up again. But the writings are clear. We may be headed for 16, 17 in the next trend that is observed is not held, in check.
All right, thank you very much. Grateful for your time this evening. Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC Ghana. This is Eyewitness News here on 97.3 Citi FM. Stay with us. We have business news next.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Inu Safo. Let's settle for the details. The International Monetary Fund has reiterated calls for countries within the sub-Saharan African region to implement structural reforms to diversify funding sources and improve public finances to ensure growth. This, the fund notes, will go a long way to mitigate the impacts of the current vulnerabilities on countries. In its 2024 Regional Economic Outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa, it projected the growth in the region will rise from 3.4% recorded in 2023 to 3.8% in 2024. Despite this, it is expected that the region will continue to be more vulnerable to global external shocks as well as the threat of rising political instability. Here's the Deputy Director in the IMF's African Department, Catherine Patillo, speaking on the issue.
Like the rest of the world, the COVID pandemic had really horrible impact on economies, people's lives. Immediately after that, then you have the Ukraine war, food, fuel, fertilizer, sky with again, big implications. We're seeing what we really thought was a cost of living crises in a lot of countries because of these high prices that affected people and affected, for example, food insecurity. With 146 million people in the region, termed food insecure, and that continues. Then now we have the, Gaza, Red Sea disruptions, some implications for volatility in commodity prices, and climate shock, continuation of climate shocks. So indeed, polycrises and lots of difficulties. So the report is highlighting that after these brutal years, we are seeing some encouraging signs. So our message is that the region does seem to be on the mend, but there are these persistent challenges.
Catherine Patillo is the Deputy Director in the IMF's African department. Away from that, recent data from the International Air Transport Association indicates that passenger demand was up by 13.8% in March 2024. The research also shows that demand for international flights surged 19%, while domestic flights demand was up by 6.6%. The total demand measured in revenue passenger kilometers was compared to that of March 2023. The following news desk report has more highlights.
The research shows that demand for international flights surged 19%, while domestic flight demand was up by 6.6%. Overall, passenger demand incorporating domestic and international in Africa, Europe, Latin America and the Middle East increased by between 10 and 11% year-on-year, with Asia-Pacific witnessing growth of 24.2% at one end and North America recording a 6.3% increase at the other. IATA noted that international travel demand also grew across all regions, with major routes from Asia-Pacific showing outstanding growth. Nevertheless, the number of scheduled flights between North America and China is at just 16.5% of pre-pandemic levels. Meanwhile, European airlines recorded an 11.6% year-on-year increase in demand for international travel, while capacity grew 11.4% and the average load factor rose marginally to 79.9%. Director General of IATA, Willie Walsh, has called for urgent progress to resolve supply chain issues and for airport and air traffic management to be fully staffed and operating at maximum efficiency to accommodate the sustained increase in demand.
That was a news desk report. In a strategic move to boost passenger traffic, Africa World Airlines has partnered with Travelport, a global distribution system provider. This collaboration will allow travel agents to easily book Africa World Airline tickets through the Travelport platform, increasing the airline's visibility and offering greater convenience for both travel agencies and travelers. Head of Commercials with Africa World Airlines, Jonathan Appiah, in a media engagement on the sidelines of the unveiling of the partnership with Travelport, indicated that it aligned with the airline's strategic goals.
In the airline industry, travel agents are major partners, and it's very important to have your tickets visible out there, that is on the internet. So we want to call it global distribution system. And Travelport comes in very strategic because it's able to provide us with cutting-edge technology that will give us that feed for our travel agencies to see our tickets. And by so doing, they can also book for the traveling public. So it's much strategic. Already, Africa World Airlines is the airline of choice in the West African region. And as part of our expansion plan, which I think we highlighted here, our expansion plan that we highlighted here, it falls in because we'll be able to carry Travelport along to any of the destinations that we want to go.
Jonathan Appiah is the head of commercials with Africa World Airlines. Meanwhile, Sunny Praksha Gupta, the regional manager for Travelport in Central, West Africa and the Turkish market, emphasized to the media the pivotal role the platform will play in elevating the customer experience.
Finally, we have Africa World on Travelport Plus platform, and today Travelport officially announced they have signed an agreement with Africa World Airline, which is a leading domestic and regional carrier in Ghana and in Western Africa. This multi-year deal confirms that Travelport connected agencies will have continued access to the wide range of products that Africa World is offering to the agencies. And as the leading domestic carrier continue to expand in the region, Travelport connected agencies, travel retailers Travelport Plus will be able to get easily search and shop and compare the fares offered by Africa World.
Sunny Prakash Gupta is the regional manager for Travelport in Central West Africa and the Turkish market. Just before we go, as the global population continues to rise, the pressure on farmers to meet food demand grows. But Golden Exotics Limited, Ghana's leading producer and exporter of bananas, is committed to meeting this demand sustainably. In an interview with Citi Business News on World Press Freedom Day under the theme A Press for the Planet, Journalism in the Face of Environmental Crisis, Mark Atchell, Corporate Affairs and Administration Manager of Golden Exotics Limited emphasized the crucial role of the private sector in driving sustainable growth in the agriculture sector. He assured consumers and the community that Golden Exotics is dedicated to environmentally friendly farming practices, ensuring a healthy planet for future generations.
Look at our biodiversity, where we've left large acres of lands in order planting of trees. Here, typically, it's savanna. You see, it's all grass. But look at the vegetation now. Look at the bananas. We've even brought trees to it. The plantation is beautiful. You've looked at it. And we respect our environment. Look, we have one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, organic farm in the world. That is in Ghana, Golden Exotic. Everything natural. We produce our own organic manure. We do not tamper with the environment. Everything natural in order for the bananas to grow naturally. So in terms of environment, I say we are the key. In terms of tree planting, in terms of even water usage. You see, we are using drip irrigation. That is using water very efficient.
That was the Corporate Affairs and Administration Manager of Golden Exotics Limited, Mark Atchell. That's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Eno Safo.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
In the Chest of a Woman, a stage play written by Efo Kojo-Maugbe.
Hey, but you are not a man.
I am a woman, but I am not going to indulge in the fanciful notion that men have the priority on leadership talent.
You must know how you talk before us.
Join Clemento Suarez, General Ntatia, Akofa Ejani, and more at the National Theatre on the 3rd and 4th of May 2024 at 4 p.m. for the first show and 8 p.m. for the second show each day. To purchase tickets, simply dial *713*33*21# or visit Airport Shell, Bachona Total on the Spintex Road, Rocks Wachi, Silverbird Cinema at the Accra Mall, and Gold Coast Restaurant. For more information, call 054-1234-586. In the Chest of a Woman is powered by Africa Arts Network in collaboration with Challenging Heights. Supported by UNESCO, Access Bank, Caveman Watches, Horseman Shoes, Gold Coast Restaurant, McPhillis Food, York's Rent a Car, Bisabira Museum, Citi TV, and Citi FM.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Growth Program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrum, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Choboy! Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, Sunday, the 12th of May 2024 is Mother's Day, and we have a special way for you to celebrate your mother. We're bringing you the Citi TV Mother's Day dinner. It's happening on the 12th of May 2024. This will be inside the Alisa Hotel Pavilion, North Ridge, here in Accra. The time is 4 p.m. and the rate is 450 Ghana cedis. Call 020-597-3973, 0205-973-973, and to reserve a table now. Well, it's time for Point Blank, and on Point Blank this evening, the majority in Parliament has described as unfounded calls by the National Democratic Congress NDC for the prosecution of persons involved in the award of the SML contract and alleged illegal payments. The majority caucus argues that no state official has been found culpable of causing financial loss to the state to warrant prosecution in the SML GRA deal. Well, the majority leader, Alexander Fanyomakin, has been speaking to journalists on the matter.
We in the caucus have taken note of the work of the Fourth Estate, led by our good friend Manasseh Azuri. We commend him for his efforts in holding government to account and ensuring that the democracy we're practicing as a country is sustained through interventions such as what he undertook. We equally commend His Excellency the President for not sweeping the said report under the carpet, but being bold and courageous to do further interrogation, which interrogation led to a referral to a reputable audit firm, KPMG, to look at the contract critically and then come out with some recommendations. We've become aware, again, that after the president had received the report of KPMG, he straight away went into action by issuing certain directives to GRA, which directives, in our view, would help to, as it were, straighten some procedural challenges that the contract itself presents. But it is clear also from the KPMG report that what the company is doing, especially in the downstream, is very critical, and it has helped government to generate revenue. Proud to their engagement, the manual system, which was leading to bringing about a lot of leakages, made it difficult for government to determine in real time such revenues. And it is clear also from the report of KPMG, which Mr. President gave highlights on to GRA, that indeed this company does not only have the experience, what they are doing is a novelty. Now, we are aware that our friends in the NDC are calling for certain prosecutions. I think that they have not really paid attention to the whole issue, and they just want to do politics as usual. Their call is unfounded for a simple reason, that there isn't any established proof of any officer of state causing financial loss to the state. Indeed, what they think are payment to SML are not payments born out of government revenue. If you peruse the agreement, SML is paid out of what it generates, and they would have to pay attention to the details. They are paid 0.05% per liter of revenue that they generate as a result of the system that they have put in place to monitor the downstream activities in our energy or petroleum sector. And it is instructive to also note that this company opened its doors to the Mines and Energy Committee to inspect and to see the nature of their operations. What I want to urge our colleagues in the opposition is that they should not kill Ghanaian businesses. Oftentimes, under the guise of due diligence, under the guise of ensuring that there's transparency, we often get out of control and destroy Ghanaian businesses. Whereas foreign firms who operate in certain sectors get the kind of protection that makes them develop their business, oftentimes Ghanaian businesses suffer, and they are looked at with all manner of suspicions. And I think that as somebody coming from the private sector into this public space, I would not encourage that to be done. We've seen the case of Margins, the company that is doing our Ghana card. Recently, when the Parliamentary Oversight Committee visited them, we heard the recommendations that came even from the minority members. Meanwhile, we all know how this company was lambasted in the early days when government engaged it. Today, we know how well Mr. Ejapon of Zoom Lion fame is doing, expanding in various aspects of our economy. But we know 10, 15, 20 years ago, his company became a subject matter of political rallies. Perhaps if we encourage Ghanaian businessmen, they do better. So we should encourage Ghanaian businessmen. We should encourage our state institutions to do business with Ghanaian businessmen with good initiatives. And where there are challenges, we should question but act within the remit of such challenges as we see, rather than being overly speculative. We also note that the contract initially suffered some setbacks at PPA, where on 3 occasions, PPA, through its enhanced due diligence, had challenges with it and declined approval. But whilst that is a fact, it is also a fact that the GRA and its board took steps to rationalize these and address the concerns made, and subsequently sent back the document in 2020 for PPA ratification, which ratification was duly approved somewhere in August. So clearly, whereas GRA was compelled to proceed on the principle of necessity to raise revenue for government to address the leakages, it was also mindful of the need to comply with law, and therefore took steps to act accordingly. This is also a fact on record. We've become aware again that some civil society organizations and, of course, our friends in the opposition are raising issue of constitutional breach and statutory breaches. It is important to remind them that the Section 33 of the PFM Act, upon which they mount their argument, is really not applicable in this case. Reason being that although this is a multi-year agreement, if you carefully read the PFM Act, it makes reference to Article 181 of the Constitution. And for the avoidance of doubt, I shall proceed to read the Section 33 of Act 921, which is the PFM Act. Quote, a covered entity shall not enter into any agreement with a financial commitment that binds the government for more than 1 financial year, or that results in a contingent liability, except where the financial commitment or the contingent liability, A, is with the prior approval of the minister, and B, authorized by Parliament in accordance with Article 181 of the 1992 Constitution. So it's been qualified, which means that the said agreement, which has a multi-year value, should be an international business, should be a transaction of the nature of which is prescribed by Article 181. Now, what is before us is neither a loan nor an international commercial transaction. In any event, we must all be reminded that the Supreme Court in the Clomega case had actually directed, if not suggested, to Parliament to enact a law to regulate Article 181 of the Constitution. Sadly, Parliament is yet to enact a law to regulate Article 181 of the Constitution. So, on all fours, those who argue that the GRA, and for that matter, government, breached the law by entering this agreement are wrong, or in the least, I beg to disagree with them. They perhaps have not adverted their minds to the provisions of the Section 33. It does not just say that any agreement, it qualifies it, it links it with Article 181 of the Constitution. In any event, again, for emphasis, we have a Supreme Court precedent where the Supreme Court held that even where it is a state institution, to the extent that the state institution has its own independent board, and such board gives approval, it cannot be construed to mean that the mere fact that it is a state institution, it is a matter which government is directly involved. So it must fall under 181. I repeat, in Dr. Mark Esebe-Yeboah case, and in fact I did that very case, and if you recall, we had sued the government of Ghana on the matter of car power, where the argument was to the effect that car power had a transaction with ECG, and the Minister of Finance, Honorable Setekbe at the time, had written directing GMPC to issue a residual guarantee to back the transaction. Our contention was to the effect that government was electing ECG and GMPC at its alter ego. Therefore, the real elephant in the room was government. And our argument was to the effect that government had failed in its duties to the people of Ghana to bring the agreement to Parliament. Now, we lost the case. I was counsel for Dr. Esebe-Yeboah, and it was a 7-0 unanimous decision. The Supreme Court said, no, yes, you may be right, but don't forget that there is an enactment, which enactment has created an independent status for that state institution. So if that state institution, through its board, is able to take certain decisions, in spite of the involvement of government, you cannot argue an alter ego here. Neither can you say that because government is involved in one way or the other, the matter must come to Parliament under Article 181. By parity of reasoning, even if we want to argue that the transaction comes under the ambit of Section 33, the issue again is that GRA being an independent organ of state with its own board, in view of what the Supreme Court has said, should GRA bring its transactions to Parliament for parliamentary approval, because such transactions have a multi-year value.
Majority leader in Parliament, and you heard him there addressing journalists concerning the SML contract and alleged illegal payments made. Well, that will be all for Point Blank on Eyewitness News, ending the bulletin here on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. I did this with Eno Safo. Production by Kobna Wilson, Sami Wiafe, and Bevlin London. Technical support, Daniel Squashy. Social media, Edwin Kwakofi. Thank you guys, and thank you also for making time and of course listening to us here on 97.3. Have a good evening and enjoy the weekend. Next is the most riveting sports show on radio, Sports Panorama. Have a good evening.